Good morning, YouTube family. Um, just wanted to today. I wanted to talk about my profession, which is truck driving. I have a Class A CDL, and I wanted to share with my audience why I got into truck driving and the benefits, in my opinion, the pros and the cons, and why it worked for me. Um, I've been I went the first time I got exposed to driving a truck was when I worked for the city and back home. And from there, I had a coworker that he had been a long haul truck driver for a long time, and he shared with me his experience, the money he was making, and it caught my attention. It sparked my interest. On top of that, I've always liked trucks. Ever since I can remember, since I was little, I feel like I had this fascination with big trucks. Um, when I used to see him on the road, like when I was with one of my parents or something. Um, but yeah, this video is basically about that. Um, why I got into truck driving, and hopefully you can gain some knowledge from this. Maybe there's some of y'all that whether you're young or older, you want to experience that. You're considering getting your CDL license and getting involved in truck driving. So me being a driver since 2016. So when I was in the city, I decided to leave the city, and I saved up a little money, and I went to trucking school. And it was back in 2016, and I think trucking school was about 2 or 3 weeks, if I can remember. But back then, you everything was done through the DMV, Texas Department of the DMV, basically where you go get your driver's license. Um, and you take the test. I think there's like three main tests, which is um, rules of the road, air brakes, air brakes, and general knowledge, basically about the truck, how to do a pre-trip, what the what what the strips in the back of the truck, the ones that are like fluorescent, things like that. I mean, how the the uh, the mud flap in the truck, how many inches off the ground it should be. Basically, the mud flap in the back of the trailer is to keep mud from flying and debris and hitting other cars. Just things like that, and general knowledge, rules of the road, basic knowledge about the rules of the road, how what procedures you should take when you're on the road, whether you should stay on the left lane or the right lane. Basically, things like when you're driving a tractor trailer, most cities, most counties, the left lane is to pass other vehicles, and then you get back in the right lane. Um, you're not really supposed to stay on the left lane for a long time. So it's just common knowledge things, and I think it's about the same now. But the everything has changed now. I believe from what I heard is everything is third party. It's not through the Texas Department of Public Safety, the DMV office. But for the most part, at the end, when you finish truck driving, when you do your class work, you do when you're going to trucking school, you have your there's two phases, which is the classroom knowledge, and then you go out on the field and they teach you how to drive. Then at the end, uh, you an inspector from the state, you go on a road test, and I think you get like two or three chances to get it right. It's not very hard. Basically, they just want to see that you're being safe on the road. You're following the rules of the road when you're driving a tractor trailer. But I just, that's my situation. That's why I wanted to put this video out, just to share my experience in truck driving since 2016. So when I graduated trucking school, I went and I worked for a long haul company, and that's how I got my first experience. I worked for a few over the road companies. Then eventually I went local. And I mean, to me, one of the benefits of driving over the road, driving a tractor trailer, is that I've always been the kind of person that I kind of like to work by myself. I really don't like to to be micromanaged. Now I'm sharing with you the good and the bad about driving, and all I can do, I cannot tell you truck driving is the best thing in the world. It works for you because everybody's different. You got to find what works for you. But I'm telling you how it benefited me, the pros and the cons, and what I was willing to overlook in driving trucks. I'm sharing you what worked for me and why I'm still in it. But that's one of the main reasons is that if you're the kind of person that it's hard for you to work around other people, you don't like to deal with the drama, things like that, warehouses, somebody looking over your shoulder. Um, Getting a CDL license, being a truck driver is the best thing is the best thing for you, because you learn the hardest part about getting your CDL, your commercial license. It's the beginning. Um, Taking the exams, it's a learning curve like anything. Um, you have to push to learn the rules of the road, different things like that. The general knowledge part, the air brakes test, and then if you want to get endorsements, like getting getting endorsements, like getting your hazmat, which that's I got my hazmat when I got my when I was while I was in trucking school. I studied my hazmat. The DMV, the Texas Department, they give you materials to study, everything you need to know. They give you the materials, they show you where to go. And I studied getting my hazmat at night and went to trucking school during the day. And another endorsement is your tanker. Basically, is it's an endorsement to haul liquids, big liquids, milk, gasoline, chemicals in a big cylinder, in big containers. So that's what and the tank that's what the tanker endorsement is about. They have doubles where you pull two trailers at a time, triples where you pull three trailers at a time. So they have there's you have different endorsements you can get. I got tankers and hazmat, and basically hazmat, the main function of the main function of getting your hazmat is to pull hazardous chemicals that are flammable, basically, that are dangerous. So the hazmat is the hardest test. It's not very hard, but it pretty much tells you, it shows you all the knowledge of how to pull freight that has hazmat, um, how far away you should park from the railroad, things like that. Whether you should smoke, how far away you should smoke from your trailer. If you have hazmat materials, you're not supposed to smoke anything near, things like that. Um, uh, the codes, the different codes, and the different code. Each hazmat material, it can be explosives, it can be chemicals, it can be chemicals to make plastic, or anything that's flammable. It's a hazmat material. So the test shows you everything. The test pretty much shows you the codes and the abbreviations, what each chemical means, all those things of that nature. But um, uh, I'm just sharing my experience. What the benefits were. One of the main benefits, like I say, the number one benefit, if you're the kind of person that I am, that you kind of even though maybe you don't mind working around people, but you like to work alone. You once you get over that hump over trucking school, you pass your exams, your driving test, and you get your CDL. All that's left basically is you already know how to drive the truck. You go to your shipper. You go to your shipper. You give him your bill of lading, which is the information in paper, what you need to pick up, the weight of the of what you're hauling, everything, and then they tell you where to go. I mean, you pick up